What if the heaviest things you carry aren't in your hands but in your heart? We pile up sweaters, spare cables, gifts we never used, tiny anchors that keep us circling the same harbor. A drawer that won't close becomes a thought that won't quiet. The closet you avoid opening is the feeling you avoid meeting. In Zen, we look directly. The weight is not the wood or fabric, it's the clinging. Objects aren't the problem. The story we tie to them is. I've spent 2 decades watching a simple truth transform lives. When space returns, breath returns. The floor clears and the mind follows. Letting go is not losing. It is letting what no longer serves you complete its journey. Like leaves in autumn, things fall away so life can root deeper. You don't need a perfect home. You need a kinder relationship with what you hold. Walk with me through this video, and I'll guide you step by gentle step to a lighter way of living. By our final chapter, you'll receive a small but powerful gift, the Zen Live More Map, a 7-day, 10-minute-a-day practice that clears one corner of your outer world and one corner of your inner world in tandem. You'll finish not with emptiness, but with room. Room for quiet mornings, for unhurried tea, for the person you're becoming. Before we begin, try this. Look around and let one object speak. Ask softly, do I own this, or does it own me? If your breath deepens as you imagine releasing it, that's your first step toward freedom. 1. The invisible weight, when what you own starts owning you. If your home could whisper, would it ask for air? Most rooms aren't crowded with objects. They're crowded with unfinished conversations. The unopened box speaks of a choice delayed. The coat for winters that never come murmurs of fear. The maybe later pile repeats a tired promise. When you pass them, notice your breath, how it shortens by a thread. In meditation, we learn that the mind doesn't quiet just because we close our eyes. It quiets when the world around us stops tugging at our sleeve. Clutter tugs. The first cost of clutter isn't money, it's attention. Every item charges a tiny fee, a thought, a decision, a maintenance loop. By noon, the best of you has been spent negotiating with things that never thank you back. Attention is life's most tender currency, and it buys presence. When you invest it in objects you barely use, your day starves where it matters and overeats where it doesn't. Minimalism is not punishment. It's a more honest budget for your mind. Decision fatigue hides in your drawers. Open a stuffed drawer and feel the micro tension. Where does this go? Should I keep that? These small questions stack like pebbles until they feel like a mountain. You deserve places in your home where nothing is required of you. A clear surface is not a design trend. It is mercy. And guilt is not love. We often keep gifts we don't enjoy because we fear hurting someone's feelings. But the love you received is already in your heart. It does not live inside the sweater. You can keep the gratitude and release the garment. Love will not mind. Someday is a thief with soft feet. It steals today's color with promises about a future that rarely arrives. Someday I'll need this. Someday I'll read that. In Zen, we return to the present moment not as a slogan, but as a discipline of kindness. Ask gently, does this serve the life I'm living this season? If not, let it rest in someone else's season. And remember, dust is honest. It gathers exactly where attention doesn't. When you wipe a shelf with awareness, you're not just cleaning wood, you're clearing a thin film from your mind. The cloth becomes a small bell that calls you back to the present. Your body keeps the score of your rooms. Watch what your shoulders do when you enter a cluttered hallway. Do they rise? Feel your jaw near the overstuffed closet. Does it tighten? The nervous system reads obstacles as work to be done, even tiny ones. Clear pathways and the body unknots. Softness returns not as laziness, but as readiness. The story is heavier than the object. A cracked mug from a difficult year weighs ounces, but the memory you tied to it weighs decades. Bow to the story, thank it for the lesson, then ask with compassion, does keeping this help who I am becoming? If the answer is silence, the object is asking to go. One clear path returns one clear day. Choose a single walkway, kitchen door, bed to window, and make it free. Tomorrow morning, move through it and notice how your inner voice speaks more gently when you're not dodging yesterday. Freedom grows in tiny exits. Set a 5-minute timer, pick up 5 items, give each 5 seconds. Do I use you? Do you lift me? If your breath does not ease, it leaves. You are not throwing away your life. You are throwing away the noise that keeps you from hearing it. A small practice for tonight. Place a basket by the door. Every time something tightens your breath, when you touch it, drop it in. At sunset, sit with the basket. Keep, donate, or discard. There is no fourth option. This turns "I'll declutter someday" into a living rhythm. And if you find 3 can openers, smile. Perhaps only one of them is truly enlightened. We've softened the weight we can see. Next, let's dissolve the weight we believe, the restless whisper that says more, even when your cup is already full. 2. Enoughness, ending the endless more loop. The thirst doesn't end when the river grows. It ends when the cup learns enough. We chase one more upgrade, one more shelf, one more sale because we've been trained to believe fullness arrives from the outside. In Zen, we turn the bowl in our hands and ask the quieter question, is the bowl cracked by craving? If so, even an ocean will leak through. Enoughness is not poverty. It's the skill of keeping what truly nourishes. An overflowing cup cannot receive tea. A teacher once placed his hand over a student's cup and kept pouring. Tea spilled, steam rose, and the student protested. Exactly, the teacher smiled. You ask for wisdom while your mind is crowded. Our lives are that table, sticky with yesterday's spills. Before you add anything new, set down one thing. A subscription you never use, a promise you don't mean, the habit of checking prices for a future that hasn't asked for it. Desire grows in the dark places where attention hides. When you hover over a shopping cart at midnight, notice the flicker inside. The little spark that says, after this, I'll feel complete. That spark is real, but it belongs to presence, not to packaging. If you bring a lamp of awareness to the moment, 3 slow breaths, a hand on the heart, the spark returns to its rightful home, and the craving loosens without a fight. Comparison is the factory that prints not enough. A stranger's kitchen, a friend's vacation, a curated closet. These are postcards, not maps. Postcards hide the mess behind the camera. When you measure your life against pictures, you forget to feel the floor under your feet. Try a simple fast. For 24 hours, refuse to compare. Every time the mind says, theirs is better, reply gently, may they be happy, and look again at your own life as if it were a beloved room. Gratitude does not add square footage, but it changes the size of the heart living inside it. Speak it out loud to anchor it in the body. I have enough light in this window. I have enough warmth in this blanket. I have enough kindness in this home. Gratitude is not denial of desire. It's the ground that keeps desire from becoming a storm. From stable ground, you can choose clearly, not hungrily. Saying no is an act of self-respect disguised as a small sound. At your doorway, imagine a quiet gatekeeper who asks each new item, what is your job? What will you cost me in time, care, and attention? Whom will you replace? If the answers are vague, the gate stays closed. A loving no today prevents 1,000 tiny negotiations tomorrow. Tiny rituals rewire big cravings. Try the 1-week pause. When you want to buy, write it on a card and wait 7 days. During that week, live as if you already owned it. Solve the same problem using what you have. If the want fades, it wasn't a need, it was weather. If it endures with calm clarity, you'll meet it without the old fever. Identity eats strategy for breakfast. If you keep telling yourself, "I'm trying to be minimalist," you'll keep trying. Instead, whisper a truer story. "I'm a person who protects space so life can breathe." Then act in small, undeniable ways that prove it. Clear one shelf, finish one repair, choose one generous donation. The mind trusts what the hands repeat. Enoughness creates surplus of time, of attention, of tenderness. When the closet stops arguing with you, mornings soften. When the counter is not a battlefield, cooking becomes a small ceremony. When you are not chasing the next thing, you finally have the strength to love the things you already vowed to keep. The world doesn't shrink, the noise does. Tonight, let this be your practice. Sit in your quietest corner and name 5 already enoughs. Feel how the body releases a little at each declaration, as if untying invisible knots. That ease is not laziness, it is readiness. With the thirst calmed, we can meet space itself, not as empty, but as a friend that feeds life, and that is where we go next. 3. Space feeds life, the healing power of empty. What if empty isn't absence, but oxygen? Walk into a room with one clear surface and watch what your shoulders do. They drop, almost by themselves. That drop is wisdom speaking through the body. Fewer obstacles outside mean fewer obstacles inside. Space is not nothing. It is a living ally that lets breath move freely and thoughts settle like snow in a quiet field. The eye rests first, then the mind follows. We think rest requires hours, yet the eye can deliver it in seconds. A bare nightstand, a simple chair by a window, these are invitations to stillness. When the eye stops scanning for where to put things and what to do next, attention gathers itself. With gathered attention, kindness returns, because a scattered mind rarely remembers to be gentle. Clear one surface and you clear tomorrow morning. Choose a single table today and make it a sanctuary. Place back only 3 items that make your breath deepen. Perhaps a lamp, a book you're reading, a small flower. Guard this island for 24 hours. Watch how the next morning begins with less negotiation and more presence. One merciful corner can steady a whole day. Every object is a conversation. Silence is part of good listening. We are surrounded by loud talkers, appliances that beep, papers that rustle guilt, souvenirs that pull us into yesterday. A little emptiness is the quiet friend who lets other voices be heard. The kettle's soft song, the bird outside, your unhurried thoughts. Emptiness doesn't erase life. It turns down the volume so you can hear it. Space doesn't push life away. It makes room for it to arrive. Clear a shelf and a new ritual appears. A morning journal, a teacup, a prayer. Clear an hour, and a walk becomes a doorway to an unexpected insight. When we stop overfilling, life volunteers its best ideas. The secret isn't to chase inspiration, it's to give it somewhere to land. The room you curate curates you back. Environments train behavior without speech. A hall with no obstacles teaches the body to move with ease. A kitchen counter with space invites simple, wholesome cooking. A bedroom with less visual noise invites deeper sleep. We don't overpower our habits, We place small stones along the path that make calm the easiest thing to choose. Empty is a teacher with soft hands. In meditation, we sit and face the open. No music, no to-do lists, just breath. At first, it feels like nothing. Then the nothing becomes clarity. A quiet room works the same way. Sit in it for 5 minutes. Worries parade past, yes, but soon they run out of costumes. What remains is a steadiness that needs no purchase. Put beauty where your gaze lands first. Space is not a vow of beige, it is a promise of intention. When there is less, the little you keep matters more. A simple vase, a framed photo that truly warms you, one poem taped inside a cabinet. These become bells that call you back to what you cherish. Beauty multiplies in empty rooms because it no longer competes. Your future needs elbow room. Think of space as a gift to the person you're becoming. If every surface is already claimed, where will her painting sit? Where will his stretching mat unroll? Where will conversations grow without elbows bumping into yesterday? Clearing isn't merely tidy, it is hospitality to the next chapter. Practice the one surface miracle tonight. Before sleep, clear just the top of your dresser or bedside table. Wipe it slowly, as if you were polishing your day. Set one glass of water and one small intention. May I wake to enough. In the morning, notice how your first glance doesn't trip over anything. That tiny ease is not trivial, it's a seed. When the room breathes, you remember to. As you live with more space, you'll notice small mercies accumulating. You misplace fewer things. You speak more softly to yourself. You find time for a page, a prayer, a phone call you've been meaning to make. Spaciousness is not a style. It is a kind of love that clears the way. And yet, even as rooms open, one knot often remains. The tender guilt that glues us to certain objects, gifts, heirlooms, relics of who we once were. How do we free space without hurting memory or love? That is the gentle door will open next. 4. Letting go without guilt. Bless, keep, or release. You can honor the memory without housing the museum. We often keep shelves and boxes full of objects because one moment tied to them was beautiful. But moments live where they were lived, in the heart, not in the glass, fabric, or wood that happened to be near us. When we confuse the object with the love, our homes turn into shrines to yesterday, leaving little room for today. Love is not stored in sweaters. A gift fulfills its purpose the moment it makes you feel seen. Holding on to something you don't use doesn't increase the love. It only increases dust and quiet resentment. The gratitude stays with you, even if the object goes. True love between people survives the parting of things. Permission precedes freedom. Many wait for a sign from parents, partners, or tradition before releasing heirlooms they no longer want. In Zen, we bow to the lineage, but then we bow again to truth. If an object burdens the life you are living now, the kindest choice is to give it a life that matches its usefulness. The story is heavier than the ceramic. Pick up a cracked mug from a painful chapter in your life and notice the tightening in your chest. You're not holding clay. You are gripping an identity you have outgrown. Speak to it. Thank you for getting me through. Then ask, does keeping you help the person I'm becoming? If the answer is silence, it's ready to go. Guilt pretends to be kindness. We tell ourselves, I'll keep it so no one feels hurt, but the hurt turns inward. Cramped spaces, mental noise, and a quiet hum of obligation. True kindness works in both directions. Let the giver's love be complete by allowing their gift to serve its next life, perhaps warming a stranger who needs exactly that coat today. A photo lets the heart keep what the hands release. If letting go feels like erasing, take a clear photo and write 3 sentences about why it mattered. Keep it in a small memory album that takes up no more space than a book. The memory stays. The object is free. When you say yes to everything, your yes means nothing. Imagine a gentle gatekeeper at your door asking each object, "What is your job? How often do you serve? Do you lift this space when you appear?" If the answers are uncertain, the gate remains closed. This isn't harshness, it's stewardship. Not all just in case is just. The mind loves to prepare for emergencies that never come. Test each hedge. If I lost this today, would I buy it again tomorrow? If the answer is no, you're not preventing a problem. You're storing a phantom. Release it and feel the present stand taller. Relief is the body's applause. After you let something go, stand still and notice your body. Does your breath deepen? Do your shoulders drop? Your nervous system knows when a space has been lightened. It relaxes into that safety. Release is contagious. Clear one shelf and the next one volunteers. Donate one box and a friend asks how you did it, then hands you another from their car. Lightness spreads like a kind rumor. We keep what serves love, not what demands it. Make it a ceremony, not a chore. Lay a cloth on a table and place 3 bowls. Bless, keep, release. Once a week, with tea in hand, sort 10 items slowly. With each release, breathe twice, once for the joy it brought, once for the lesson it gave, then bow. Every goodbye funds a deeper hello. As objects depart, space returns, and space is an invitation. Into that invitation will step the life you have been postponing. A quiet breakfast, a chair by the window, a quilt you use. When you free the room, you free the day. When you free the day, you free yourself. And now that your hands are lighter and your rooms are listening, the question turns forward. If space is a promise, what do you want it to deliver? That is the gentle door we open next. 5. Make room for what you truly want. Empty hands are the most ready to receive. When your palms are already full, even blessings have nowhere to land. We think desire requires chasing, but often it simply requires clearing a place to sit. Make a little emptiness on your shelf, in your afternoon, and watch how life, uninvited yet welcomed, finds its way in. Design your space to match your prayers. If you say you want quiet mornings, give a quiet chair by the window. If you say you want stronger legs, leave enough floor for a mat to unroll without a second thought. Environments train us gently. A room that reflects your priorities will return them to you each day without a lecture. Put your dream where your feet go. The path you walk most, the doorway to the kitchen, the side of your bed, should carry a small sign of the life you're building. A book on the nightstand you're truly reading, a glass for evening tea, a pen and 2 blank cards by the door to encourage gratitude notes. When your feet meet reminders, your day cooperates. Small altars make large lives. Choose one surface and curate 3 things only. One that steadies you, a candle, one that opens you, a poem or photo, and one that points forward, a tiny object of your next chapter. This becomes a bell you pass many times a day, each ring so soft you don't notice, only the accumulation of calm. Guard the gates where noise sneaks in. A tidy desk won't help if the screen pours chaos into your lap. Set 2 gentle boundaries. No device in the first hour after waking, and 1 screen-free meal daily. When you keep noise outside the walls of these moments, the mind recovers its original color, and choices become simple again. Replace storage with staging. Don't bury tools of joy. Stage them like honored guests. Leave the guitar on a stand, not in a case. Keep paints visible, not stacked behind boxes. A bowl of yarn on a table will be used. Yarn in a bin will be postponed. If you want more of something, make it the easiest thing to begin. Say no to free your yes. Every yes takes space, time, and attention. When you protect these three, your yes regains its strength. Practice a loving refusal. Not now, so I can give fully later. The world won't crumble. It will learn the rhythm of your sincerity. Measure energy, not ownership. At day's end, ask, what gave me energy? What drained me? Keep what feeds you and redesign what doesn't. A chair that hurts your back is not neutral. A hobby that leaves you lit from within is not trivial. Arrange your home by energy, and momentum becomes an ally. Try the open hour. Let life volunteer its gifts. Once this week, choose 60 minutes with no buying, no scrolling, no fixing. Sit with your clear surface. Walk slowly. Listen for the soft ideas that arrive when you stop auditioning them. Write down one that feels warm and take the first tiny step within 24 hours. The first step is the hinge on which the stalled doors swing open. Use the future you test. Hold an item or a plan and ask, will the person I'm becoming thank me for this? Future you has a simpler voice and a straighter posture. If you hear a quiet yes, keep it. If you hear shuffling excuses, release them. Living with your future self in mind turns clutter into compost. Everything unnecessary returns to the earth and feeds what is next. Let rituals do the remembering. Want deeper friendships? Place 2 cups and a tin of tea where guests can see them and schedule 1 invitation each week. Want a kinder body? Lay your shoes by the door at night and put your phone in a drawer. Rituals are reminders that move on their own. Your job is simply to show up. Make space, then make meaning. Clearing is the first kindness. Choosing what fills the cleared space is the second. Pick one corner and dedicate it, a reading nook, a stretching mat, a small table for letters. When a space has a purpose, distraction becomes the visitor, not the host. The room you open inside will open the room outside. As your surroundings align, the talk in your head softens. You misplace less, you apologize less to yourself, and what you truly want begins to feel near enough to touch. This is not magic. It's agreement between your inner vow and your outer world. Tonight, try this simple move. Clear one chair and sit in it with a warm drink. Whisper, I'm ready for more life. Notice the quiet reply that rises to meet you, and keep that whisper close, because next we'll gather everything you've learned into a gentle, practical gift, the 7-day Zen Less, Live More map, so your new space can become your new rhythm. 7 days, 10 minutes, a different kind of wealth. You've been clearing not to subtract life, but to make room for it. The reward of minimalism is not a cold, echoing room. It's a warm breath that finally reaches the bottom of your lungs. Tonight, let the journey land in your hands as something small, doable, and quietly powerful. Your reward isn't emptiness, it's room for meaning. When space returns, mornings soften, decisions lighten, and kindness finds a wider hallway to walk through. You are not losing yourself. You're meeting the self that was waiting behind the piles. Here is your Zen Less, Live More map. Day 1. 1 breath, 1 drawer. Choose the easiest drawer. Keep only what deepens your breath. Day 2. The surface sanctuary. Clear 1 surface. Return just 3 items that make you feel peaceful. Day 3. The enough list. Write 5 already enoughs. Release 1 duplicate with gratitude. Day 4. Bless and release. Let go of one memory object after thanking it for what it gave. Day 5. One in, one out. If something enters, something exits. Balance is kindness. Day 6. Open hour. 60 quiet minutes. No screens, no buying, no fixing. Let ideas come to you. Day 7. Align a corner. Dedicate a nook to the life you want more of. Reading, stretching, prayer, conversation. Small steps, big momentum. Do not wait for a perfect weekend or a grand overhaul. Let gentle repetition be your strength. The mind trusts what the hands repeat, and your hands now know the way. Make it a feeling, not a task. Light a candle before you begin. Breathe once for the joy an item brought, once for the lesson it taught, and once for the person you're becoming. Ritual turns change into tenderness. Choose your next doorway. If this met you where you are, tell me one item you're ready to bless and release, or one corner you'll align this week. Share your day 1 win below so others can borrow your courage. And if you want to keep walking, subscribe and join me next time as we explore how stillness doesn't pause life, it deepens it. May your home become a bell that rings you back to yourself. The less you own, the more you live. Because now life finally has room to sit with you.